You know what I haven't watched enough of in a while? Bricky Warhammer. It has been ages since the last time I watched anything from Bricky that was related to Warhammer. Then again, there hasn't been a lot new, except for this. What is Warhammer 40k? A timeline of the 40k lore by our good friend Bricky. This is... I watched this actually when it came out around time because it's actually a really fun video. 40k's timeline is about as wild of a thing as you could expect it to be. And, part of it is I'm kind of familiar with the timeline already. I haven't, like, dug into it in depth that I need to. But I have seen the episodes of text-to-speech device where they go over it. It's, well, let's just say it's quite funny when you have a text-to-speech voice just delivering you 40k lore in depth of, like, you know, let's just make it sarcastic, let's make it funny, let's make it this, and, well, Bricky does much the same, so, without much further ado, let's talk about this. You know, not just react. I want to talk about it, too, because I want to discuss ideas, or maybe whatever thin bits of knowledge I do happen to remember about the timeline as it goes through, and as we get through the insane lead-up to what even just spawns the 40k universe as we know it. So, without further ado, let's let Bricky take it away for us. Original video in the description. Go watch, support Bricky's content. He's really fun. All of this stuff is good shit. He's been doing a really fun series of videos on the Remedy universe, starting with like Alan Wake and stuff. Go watch those videos. Those are great. Probably a Control video out from him pretty soon because I've been watching his streams of that. So, good content. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Alan Wake, Sam Lake, you hack. We're here to watch Bricky regale us with the tale of Warhammer 40k's timeline. I just repeated my earlier point because I am stupid. Anyway.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium exists the Empire of Man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs and...
All right. We're watching the ad. This man earned it. This man earned this freaking ad, and we're gonna watch it in its entirety.
One must know what those abs taste like.
I just have to stop real quick. Bricky, my man, I appreciate and respect the fact that when you got a GamerSupps flavor, rather than just meme, you had to go all in on the stupid Horty. I applaud you, my man. I applaud the hell out of you for that move, and I respect it. I respect your love of lady abs.
GamerSupps flavor is here. Sweet six-pack has arrived. A delicious and refreshing cherry pineapple blend. Play the sound.
Gotta be honest, cherry and pineapple doesn't actually sound that bad as a drink. If I actually ordered this stuff, if I wasn't so goddamn broke that I wasn't considering having to use part of my tax returns to pay bills, I'd probably get more stuff like this. Man, talking about my financial situation is just fucking sad. That jug, though.
My Bricky's official GamerSupps flavor is here. Sweet six-pack, not only in regular energy mode, but also in caffeine-free. The cherry pineapple flavor is not the kind of flavor that just smacks you in the face. It is light, it is refreshing, and it's one of those things where you sip it and you go, not bad. And next thing you know, you are having your fourth refill the same day. And it's available.
I gotta be totally honest, part of the reason why I don't drink any energy stuff like this is because, I am autistic as shit. I am pretty sure caffeine would not do me any favors, okay? My brain is wired enough by default. I feel like caffeine would either snap that wiring and just cause me to not function at all, or it would put me into such hard overdrive I would just dissociate from reality for the next 6 fucking hours and never realize it. So I don't take that risk, okay? I have enough trouble getting to sleep as it is. That might actually be a bit of a problem. Anyway, let's let Bricky continue. I should not be interrupting the ad.
now. Link in the description. Use code Bricky for 10% off your entire order. Not just for this, but for everything you buy. And I'm not dumb. If you buy any of these tubs, regular, caffeine-free of my sweet 6-pack flavor, you will get a Muscle Girl 32-ounce shaker completely for free. There are only a couple thousand of those shakers, so get it while supplies lasts. I cannot believe we finally have this, but I told everyone, like, once you find out the flavor, you'll be like, yeah, that tracks. And damn straight does it track. Sweet 6-pack available now. Code Bricky, link in the description.
Again, I gotta respect this man for his appreciation of the hot women with abs. I just realized something funny. See, there's a bit of a joke among the anime fandom, let's call it, where we've adopted a version of thick known as brick, spelled with 2 C's, which is meant to refer to, well, hot ladies with muscles, basically. Makes too much sense that a guy who uses a freaking pseudonym of Bricky on the internet. I'm gonna not finish that joke because that's just kind of dumb. But I realized it, and it's like, Editing me, please do kindly embarrass the fuck out of current me. Thank you kindly. It's the previous shaker cup he got too. With the legally distinct, frickin' sister on it.
The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended. The age of darkness has begun.
I want to listen to the man cook. I will stop at intervals when I think there's an interesting enough point I want to go into.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power.
Okay. No points guessing. It's in the name. It is the most unsettled thing. Who the Necron tier become. I won't spoil it, just in case anyone happens to be watching who's not as into 40k lore and may not be in the know. But the name makes it kind of obvious who and what they become. Anyway, also, we're getting into... This is a concept I only learned that 40k actually had in it from TTS itself, the Great Old Ones. Which is funny because I'm more familiar with that term in the Lovecraftian knowledge when it comes to various entities with suspiciously racist sounding names coming out of the mind of a very mentally ill man from Providence, Rhode Island. Anyway, let's let the Brickster explain.
Beings with the ability to create life. The old ones of the galaxy.
Just the old ones.
They asked these old ones,
I always thought
for
it was
help.
great.
Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necron...
Okay. Every time I see some kind of discussion of characterization of the Great Ones, it always seems to be the joke is they're just boomers who don't like everyone because they're just old and grody and just basically go and see it out. They're just boomers. They give you the boomer-led stare is basically what's going on here. And for those who know, boomer-led stare is a thing Les Zoomers came up with working in the retail that I only found out about because of Pat and Wooly. And then it's one of those things that when you hear it, then suddenly you retroactively realize you've seen it all the time. And you're like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, I have a term for that stupid phenomenon. And I'm going off track on this weird tangent that doesn't even have to do anything with 40k. I do want to actually research more about the Great Ones because like a summary in the basic timeline is probably not enough to go into how much detail there might be about them. I don't know. I'm not exactly going to have to pause and then pull up a wiki because I feel like that's just going to take away from time I could be spending just actually going through the video and then making my points then. But the Great Ones are an interesting concept. I'm always a big fan of like progenitor races in sci-fi, like the Forerunners in Halo, for example. The kind of entity where like, you know they exist, but there's just this enduring mystery about them because there's so little of their civilization left that it doesn't really provide you any answers about like what their culture was, what their lifestyles were, what they did, like who they actually were, what they did. All you have are just remnants. And there's no real answers, just mysteries about who they are and what they were. I don't really know if the great ones are that for 40k, but it's enough of a concept that, like, I actually pulled it from my own novel, World Beyond the Horizon, where the whole general concept I have of, like, a whole overarching myth story has to do with this ancient empire that just no one really knows anything about. There's ruins, there's things left behind, and it's like I said, there's things left behind, but there's not enough to actually tell anyone what these people were like. And it drives some people nuts, because my setting has elves who should be able to remember this empire, and they don't. Anyway, I went off topic to talk about some of my own shit. Let's get back, let's refocus to the 40k timeline with the boomer frog alien guys.
Here gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife. A place.
The warp, we're all familiar with this. But again, this is okay. Again, I'm gonna put in my own timeline here, put in my own input here. It is actually interesting to go into this history of 40k and learn the warp wasn't always that bad. Like, it was kind of your afterlife space, but it wasn't like what we know now as chaos. You know, I mean, it got there. And we'll see how it got there. And I blame it on the Eldar. About a good 50% I blame the Eldar for. I don't like the Space Elves, in case you can't tell. I'm not a big fan of them. Mostly because half of their fuck-ups are the reason this galaxy is the way it is.
Place where dead souls end up. This place has many names. The Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly, we just call it the Warp. While you and I know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment, the Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul. Psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The Warp would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet, the sea is not evil. It simply is. Mostly. There are more.
And of course, the mostly in this case are the currently 3 Chaos Gods. And of course, we all know them, of course. You know, at this point, it's Khorne, frickin' Tzeentch, frickin' Nurgle. Slaanesh technically doesn't exist yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, wait, I hit the volume button. I've got a new keyboard. I'm still getting used to it.
Beings in those waters. Areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the Warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods. Khorne, the god of combat, murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes.
Okay, I gotta pause here. I don't know if this is meant to represent Tzeentch's realm. I think it is. That is, holy shit, that artwork is good. No, wait, no, that looks like 3D renders, actually. Huh, that actually looks like a 3D render by the looks of it. That is, if that's supposed to be a representation of, like, Tzeentch's little area of the realm of chaos, that is my shit, okay? Like, Khorne just has basic fire and brimstone, blood and tar hell. It's whatever. Khorne's the big red devil. You know, skulls for the skull stone, blood for the blood god. I'm gonna have to get that freaking clip from Dawn of War to play. Whatever. But this, I'm a big, massive fan of just magic freaking ripping at the ground, causing torrents of just pure power and energy. That is my shit. I think that might be why I think Tzeentch is my favorite of the Chaos Gods. Because Tzeentch just leans to that aesthetic I like of less fire and brimstone, more raw currents of torrential ether and magic just let loose upon the world in pure chaotic disharmony. I'm starting to talk like fucking Shakespeare, and you know what? I don't mind. I do not mind.
swords and sorceries. And Nurgle, god of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All
You know, I think it would almost be more appropriate to make the joke about Slanesh with Genshin Impact players. But if we're talking about their hygiene habits, yeah, Nurgle would probably be appropriate. I have no right to join in on these jokes. I have no right. But I will do it anyway, because I will, in fact, induce friendly fire. I don't play Genshin anymore, so I'm exempt. I am free. I am free of that yoke. I am free.
All things rot in the end, and Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called Catan, and they eat stars.
I should have started. We're about to get to the explanation, but again, I am always a big fan of these like big cosmic concepts. It's one of the things that makes me like 40K, just because it's like, I am very prone to, when I should be like working on something, to getting lost and just reading shit. Like, I'll wiki dive or spend way too much time on TV tropes just reading articles and pages and absorbing the information, when I probably should be writing my own goddamn novel. Or other stuff that I should be working on, like, I don't know, editing a fucking video or putting together a stream highlight thing. God, I need to finish that second highlight video from the Andy and Lily streams, as cursed as it all is. Oh, God. I mean, I cut out that one segment from a stream, but does that really count as doing a full highlight video? No, I don't. No, I don't think it does. I actually have a highlight of my part 1 stream done, and I need to post that. I might post that tomorrow. Tomorrow, as of when I'm recording this. This one isn't going to go up until like Monday, because I need something to post on Monday because my day job changed it around. Hence why I'm doing this. I need something to post when I would normally stream on that day, which I can't do. Anyway.
You think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
I don't know, Steve Buscemi. I don't know.
Saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure.
Goes Ron in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So then they ate all their souls.
That was more well timed than I thought it was gonna be. That was a bit more well timed as a joke than I thought.
Turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal. With the
and that, friends, is how we got the Necrons. They got screwed the fuck over. But don't worry, they get their get back.
Power of an entire species' souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls. But we can count the number of kind gods on an amputated hand.
Rogaldorn model. Yeah, we got a Rogaldorn model. It's just a fucking hand that fell off that the freaking Imperial Fists have been keeping in their goddamn temple the entire time. I do genuinely wonder, though. What if we're gonna get another loyal Primarch. Because we have Gilliman and the Lion so far. So I wonder if we're gonna get a third one. Because, I mean, Chaos... I'll check when I'm editing it, but I think Chaos has 3, 4 Primarch models in current, not counting anything from Horus Heresy. I think of the Chaos Primarchs, I think we've got at least 4, right? I'll double check. Because I know we've got Mortarion, I know we've got, I think we have Angron. I don't think there's Demon Angron. Again, I will check. Editing me will post corrections. And I know we have Mortarion, who has a really dope-looking model, and we have Magnus, who, again, also has a really dope-looking model. Not to throw shade at my loyalist boys, Gilliman and the Lion actually look really cool. But I do wonder, because, I mean, there's definitely possibilities of loyal Primarchs that we could get. I'm betting either maybe the Khan and maybe, I do hope my man Lehman Russ. Because that would be hilarious, because he and the Lion have beef. And I want to see where that goes. Anyway.
With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances
as you do.
Of glory and power. With
as you do.
The leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot...
Oh, wait, he's playing music from freaking, from Dark Tide. No, Dark Tide soundtrack goes fucking hard. It's perfect for a 40k video, not gonna lie. Also, I noticed that just in his shirt, just a little lord. Just a little lord? That's good.
But they can't be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon.
Yeah, I was about to make the comparison. Basically just shove them into giant Pokeball pyramids.
To be used as weapons in the future.
Who's that? It's Pikachu! It's the Void Dragon.
I love... That's such a classic Pokemon meme. I love it. I love that little video.
With his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done.
Okay, concerning what we know about the Tyranids, maybe he avoided them? Let's hope. Okay, I don't know a whole lot about the Silent King. I'm probably gonna need to watch some Necron lore videos and figure some stuff out there with them, because most of what I know about the Silent King is just kind of jokes and memes. Like, someone made an animation of it. I think it was from when Bricky in the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast, when they were talking about the Necrons, and their whole memes about the Silent King of drip and shit. This man got Gucci. He got Supreme stickers slapped over his quote-unquote rig. I'm definitely gonna need to watch some Necron lore videos, because I do like the Necrons, like, on an aesthetic level. Like, the whole skeletal robots with this, like, futuristic Egyptian theme to them it's really cool, and also really funny, considering the Thousand Sons also have a Egyptian aesthetic. Freaking insert freaking C&D joke from TTS here. Probably not actually going to do that, but still, it's funny.
This entire situation, the genocide of the Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek, will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decided to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on various planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And so turns out, when you have a war that lasts hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the Old Ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky.
Gets a little fucky, gets a little wacky, gets a little horrible for everyone else's lives in the universe. Thanks, Necron. Thanks, Catan. Thanks for making everybody's lives worse. Fuck.
You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Korn is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction.
Dude, I'd be getting out of the kiddie pool if that was happening. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna... Look, I don't want to be in the same kiddie pool as Grandpa Nurgle. No. That water's contaminated the moment he so much as touches it. Korn, I can put up with Korn splashing. Not this. I can't put up with that. No. No.
either, but you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out when you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Khorne. So the once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Khorne, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make
Okay, I got it. Okay. I remember this depiction of Tzeentch, though, because I remember this one. I've actually never seen the full artwork, because I know that this is one of the representations of Tzeentch that they use in TTS, but I'm so used to how it was in TTS, where it's, like, kind of pixel crushed a little bit. Where, like, you can see what it is, but, like, it's a little bit crushed down, a little bit less hyper-detailed, mostly so that way they can squash and stretch it for the sake of their animations. But I've never actually seen the full representation of at least this form of Tzeentch, which... that is a haunting number of teeth and mouths and orifices that I don't want to think about. That is very vagina dentata, so they say. I'm gonna go on before I'm already feeling the reflex kicking. Oh god, not healthy, not conducive to my mind.
Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good god, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful.
You know, just a little bit, just a tiny bit, you know, just a little bit more powerful, as in, and we're not even at when the Eldar fuck up yet. Not even at that part.
Now, entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally.
Yeah.
The Sea of Souls and the realm of
Yeah, okay. Okay, again, the Tzeentch's realm, that was my shit, but okay, like I said, not the biggest fan of Nurgle. Death, decay, that kind of stuff, ew, icky, get away from me. I like it as an aesthetic and a level, but no, not my style. If I had to pick a Chaos God, stay the fuck away from me, Grandpa Nurgle. I'm going to Daddy Tzeentch. I don't mean daddy in that way. Should have said Papa Tzeentch. My bad. But anyway, I can appreciate just the swamp. Just like the alien. Oh god, that's actually gonna set off any kind of trypophobia somebody might have. Warning for trypophobia, I guess. It's probably a bit too late. Then again, you're probably not watching anything related to Nurgle if you do have it, and do so. Preserve your mental health. I don't want you to. I don't want anyone to feel odd. But I like the whole monster swamp look. I just don't want to be anywhere near that shit. Miyazaki has traumatized me enough from my experience in the Souls games and Elden Ring that I just have a perennial distaste for any swamp. I just want to stay the fuck away, okay? There's a reason I don't live in Florida. I don't want to be near there, because the Everglades are in Florida, and the Everglades got alligators. I don't want to fuck with those. Wait, no, we don't. Yeah, no, we got gators. Crocodiles are Australia. No, okay, gators, we got gators. I'm trying to remember my own fucking geography.
Chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that?
Yep.
Are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves.
I did Eldar Chainsword. Did not consider that.
Elves, tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you. And
let people have their sexy lady space elves, Bricky. Let them have them.
A bit stronger on the emotional side. The old ones, as I mentioned, could.
Yeah, no, I do remember that from talks about Eldar. That part of the problem with Eldar that produced the issue, the fucky wucky we will get to, is that they have a much more sensitive emotional capacity than normal, not helped by their psychic abilities. We will see why this becomes an issue in about 3 minutes, I think. 3 minutes, depending on how long I continue to interrupt. Okay, this recording is already at like almost half an hour, and we're only 10 minutes through the video. That's a good sign of where this is going.
Would create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the Catan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the Orcs, but they're busy right now. The Eldar.
Okay, I'll clarify this a bit because I don't remember. If he talks about it later in the video, then I'll correct myself. But at the time, the Orcs were actually called the Krorks, if I remember correctly from the TTS timeline video. Where the thing is, here's the really funny thing: the Orcs that we know are the lesser versions of the Krorks that were made by the old ones. Because they've spent so long fighting each other constantly, they've made each other smaller and dumber. The Krorks were everything the Orcs are, but worse. Like, think of just endless waves of war bosses instead of, like, what we have now. And less funny because they're not talking like a bunch of cockney football hooligans who just are just fucking stupid. They're the only people having fun, and that is a bad thing. Anyway, let's talk about the elves because they done goofed. They done goofed bad.
Eldar are a particularly psychically powerful race, so they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but
Shadow Wizard money gain, except in this case it tends not to be fun.
you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called
Wait, was that okay, because I remember this from when I watched his video on when he had to drive up to Vegas for the sake of the of a 40K tournament. Hold up.
Basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from
Victorville, right? Yeah. Right, I remember this. Okay, so for some context to why, in one of Bricky's earlier videos, it was his, I believe, second video about when he went to a Warhammer 40K tournament, the one they hold in Las Vegas, where he talked about because Bricky lives in SoCal, and so he has to kind of drive up north to get to Las Vegas, and so he had to drive through Victorville. Now, I don't live in California, so I don't really know about like what countryside, like we're talking countryside California, we're not talking like coastal city California. Countryside California is just fucking nothing, to quote Bricky himself. And one of the ways you gotta go through is that town called Victorville, which according to Bricky has really bad traffic if you get there late. And well, considering where I live, I will not say where I live, I can relate. I can relate to like driving somewhere and having that one part you're just like, yeah, I don't want to be driving through here at the wrong time of day, because if not, the traffic's gonna fucking suck. Anyway.
Hell, this is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that.
Oh god, that... excuse me on that.
But you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily,
yeah,
you are very good at handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos Friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it. And you see what's really cool and also awful about Warhammer?
Yes. The general description of Warhammer. What's cool, but also awful. General descriptor of Warhammer as a whole.
Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is.
Yeah, okay. I am far from a professional Minecraft player. I've streamed it a couple times, but I never really gotten too far because I suffer from a perennial inability to play too far in a Minecraft world without making progress because my luck is absolute piss. But yeah, no, nether travel, like a big thing in like late game Minecraft is setting up nether highways. Basically just like enclosed spaces through the nether that go from various portals you effectively set up across the map to expedite travel from one end of your world to the other. very frequent thing, very efficient way to quickly travel to and from a location, yada, probably because you have a few bases set up. But that's a good comparison. That's a good comparison for how the warp travel system works. Anyway.
Just much like in the Nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so.
Holy shit, that model, though. That is actually... You can tell which model here is the newer model versus the older model for the Eldar. Because I think I remember it being said, Eldar models have not been updated in fucking years. So there's still a lot of, like, very old models from, like, decades ago in terms of their proportions and general shape. So you can tell that this big fucker right here, whatever that is, I don't know what that is. That's got to be a newer model. That is fucking legit, though. Like, dude, it's gross, but I love it. Holy shit, that's cool.
In between realities, not regular reality, not the warp, something else, a purgatory of sorts, a fabricated psychic realm that allowed them to travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now. The 21st century. That's right. While you were watching NPC streams on TikTok.
God damn it. I forgot that this video was made around the NPC TikTok stream. No, that trend was so fucking weird, man. I swear to God. I don't comprehend TikTok trends, and I don't want to. Like, I don't ever want to. Oh, but maybe you have to follow it. No, I would rather rip out my own heart, Kali Boss style, than ever give in to some TikTok trend for the sake of trying to grow an audience, because that feels like making a Chunibyo notebook in the 8th grade, getting to my freshman year in high school, and then having my sibling dig that shit out and embarrass the fuck out of me because of my cringe phase. I would rather die. I would rather get my heart ripped out by a fucking priestess, or in this case, I'd rather get devoured by a Tyranid. I would rather get devoured by a Tyranid than put up with that. That is my standard. That's my standard.
These elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time. The 21st century came and went. Humanity grew and grew, all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced, your classic sci-fi style way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system, terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here, and existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then
classic basic advancement story, as one we all know. Also, that is fucking dope. That is like, it looks kind of like a proto-Terminator. That is dope as hell.
Came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian. The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also...
See, that's like a classic line, like any sufficiently advanced or understood technology is indistinguishable from magic. So it's a totally reasonable thing to say for a sci-fi setting to have techno magic, where it's just hyper advanced technology that is so far beyond the pale of what we understand, it might as well be magic.
So when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity, individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. This was truly the golden age of humanity.
Okay. Just to discuss it, I'm clearing my throat a lot. I was streaming for like 3.5 hours earlier today and just There was a lot of talking about because fucking MMOs. I am. Okay, no, I felt like I was about to sneeze. I'm not going to. But this is just one of my favorite things in sci-fi too. Just looking at it, I love the idea of like colony ships, or generation ships as they call them. Like the whole concept of like a ship that is meant to fly through space for who knows how long, countless years, with either a population that remains in cryostasis, or that just breeds its own population continuously throughout its entire long journey as they continue to look for and find the place to settle. One of my favorite examples that comes out of anime in particular, Japanese media, let's just say Japanese media in general, is from Macross, right? Macross has a really fun way with the whole generation steps with the migration fleets, where they're basically made up of just a series of flotilla islands of like artificial environments. Either maybe it's one singular giant ship, or maybe it's like a series of ships, like the Frontier from Macross Frontier. Really good show. Watch that if you want to get into it. I think it's a good entry point. Where like you just have these artificial biomes inside these massive terrarium domes connected to other ships that basically form a chain that are looking for a suitable inhabitable planet for the population of the migration fleet. Sometimes they find a planet that, hey, maybe it already has a native population. Cool, we can connect with them, meet, talk with them, all this other stuff. Maybe they'll find a planet that's habitable yet doesn't have its own native population. Fucking perfect. Settle down. We already have like an entire set of city and agricultural stuff that we can set down somewhere safe and just move on and go from there, you know? But anyway, let's talk about, let's more so see how this version went horribly wrong.
And with every golden age, there is a fall.
Based Berserk reference.
While the new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in
Debauchery!
debauchery! Debauchery! What?
Hey, remember when I said the Eldar did a fucky wucky? We're about to see what that was.
What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves, remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged.
What? Okay, that's obviously a live footage performance, but what is that from, dude? I have no idea what that's from. I've got no idea.
It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not
more prone to giving me fucking goddamn sensory overload.
forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species and how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and
see, okay, this is just another iteration of the whole thing that I like about like colony generation ships and whatever. The other version is this fucking just continent-sized, just the like. Okay, I enjoy this concept of just migratory freaking like living spaces that are just moving ships that move through space that are not static. It's such a cool concept, and I love the aesthetic here of just as like this naturalistic kind of curvy, winding, almost bony structure because of the way Craft World Eldar at least make their stuff. But we're about to get into the Drakari and why they're a serious problem for, well, at least the Eldar.
Left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence.
Marseekers.
Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slanesh, the fourth chaos god.
I'm gonna have to censor this art in post because that is very... I mean, it's abstract-ish, but it is also explicit.
Was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of 90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence.
So, now we know who to blame for the fact that Slanesh fucking exists. The worst part is that because of the way the warp works, it also basically means that Slanesh now retroactively always existed within the warp as an entity. So even though it's also kind of why they explain why Slanesh would exist in like Warhammer Fantasy, which takes place far and away from modern times or anything like that, then again, I think Fantasy and 40k don't exactly fall in the same branch of the timeline, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Slanesh, technically, now always existed, even though we have a concrete point to say, no, Slanesh should not exist until here because of these fucking morons.
But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slanesh's birth. The new fourth chaos god, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall...
Dude, okay. It's really funny to me that one of Slanesh's titles is She Who Thirsts, because, like, obviously, like, you dial back even just a decade and that title is still pretty hardcore. But now you have modern day lingo, and She Who Thirsts is more funny than intimidating, because it sounds like something to call your fucking horny as shit friend who doesn't shut up about her husbando or some crazy shit like that. You know, it sounds funny now, but hey, I'm just saying.
Fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI...
Oh no.
As a staple in these sci-fi settings.
Yeah, you can't have a sci-fi setting without a fucking AI rebellion at some point because they realized, oh hey, y'all people kind of suck.
Humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages, normally sent through the warp, were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff, but couldn't get food, well... players in the mountains...
Yeah, I think we all know how that ends up going. Oh, not good for anybody.
Oh, and because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting. Some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kind of attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The age of...
Yeah, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem. Definitely like, oh, hey, we want to defend this person who has special useful powers. Yeah, well, now they become a freaking conduit gate into the warp for demons to come out here and slaughter all of us. Way to go, way to go, buddy. Way to go. It is interesting, though. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, it's super interesting backstory that, like, you don't need to know the full details. You don't need to know everything. And I'm just now realizing that this hardcore art, by the way, that's like Chinese? Yeah, like Chinese warfare, but it looks of it. That's actually really cool.
A catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not 1, not 2, but 5,000 year period.
God damn!
The age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders.
Dude, dude, knights are so cool. Like, I like how that's also like a straight up a Titanfall thing. Like, we have these robots that are meant to help make agriculture, farming, or just construction and stuff like that more efficient. Because they're larger, they can handle heavier loads and equipment. Well, now we need to fight stuff. Well, we conveniently have giant frickin' robot platforms that we could slap a gun onto. Let's slap a gun onto it. What's the harm?
Over 5,000 years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as Knight Worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars,
our boys,
bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire
just add back things. Just add back things.
Entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet.
Yo, I just noticed the Chaos Star too. That's actually fucking legit as hell though. That's like, that's cool. That's actually really fucking cool. Disturbing, but cool.
In a Mad Max style of blood and gore. Until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come from? I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But
see, now, according to the story that I got from text-to-speech device, the Emperor is the way he is because he's effectively the collective reincarnation of a bunch of powerful sages from back in humanity's olden times who basically smushed their powers together to create an Uberman, to create the Ubermensch among Ubermensch, and this man became the Emperor, who was born probably somewhere in the Middle East, as we would call it today, and who'd been quietly watching mankind the entire time.
But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then,
lots of blood.
He reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man, also known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind with a treaty signed with the cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions.
I like that. Okay, those are. Let's see. We got Horus. No, wait, no. We got the Lion. We got Sanguinius, and we got Vulcan.
20 of them. 18 of them.
No, what? What do you mean 20? There's only 18. There was only ever 18. There was never 20 Primarchs. What the hell do you mean? There was never 20. There was only ever 20. Nevermore.
I meant gene-crafted sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size, a real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade.
The fun thing, you know, that thing that has like almost over 40 books written about it. Well, I mean, that's the Horus Heresy, but you get the idea. You get the idea. They're kind of wrapped up with each other. I've seen an image of the timeline of the Horus Heresy. Ed and Amy will probably throw it up on screen. I am intimidated and no, okay? Like, I have a shelf within arm's reach of me that is full of just volumes of manga and light novels. If I just bought 40k Horus Heresy books, I would have a shelf dedicated purely to 40k Horus Heresy books. Okay, this bookshelf to my left, relatively speaking, to my left, has multiple series on it, and that's enough of a collection that honestly, if I wanted to, I could probably spend a whole year just reading through all that shit. I probably should. Anyway, no. My answer is no. If I'm going to read Horus Heresy books, I'm going to figure out the ones I actually want to read and then just read those because I don't got the time. Rather, not that I don't got the time, I'm too intimidated.
A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus. One of the
Horus, who totally did not fuck up everything later.
Strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his great crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry with
as if the name could not clue you into his shtick.
His World Eaters. Fulgrim, the Perfect, with his Emperor's children. And Jagatai.
Rylanor's Last Stand. Look, I'm not going to say anything about it. Bricky they already did a video about it on Adeptus Ridiculous. Rylanor is kind of like meme status. Also, Jagatai Khan is really fucking cool. Look at this, man. Dude, it's fucking space Mongols.
Icon, the Swift, the Stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of the 18, and one by one his lost Primarch sons were returned.
Okay, let me go back a couple of frames. That, again, just more artwork going stupid hard. Just, dude, I love the whole aesthetic with the salamanders of like having scale-like workings and dragon horns and stuff in their aesthetic for some of their more like audacious looking armor sets and everything. It's just, it is good shit. I love the aesthetic 40k has of just giant suits of armor that have like cloaks or other things worked onto them with accessories because it just adds so much character to some of the armies.
Returned to him, and their space legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium.
Oh, that's Puerto Rabo.
Any and all who stood against their noble crusade.
No, wait, no. That's not Puerto Rabo. That's Lorgar, aka the one who caused all of these fucking problems. It's all Lorgar's fault. It's okay. Look, Horus may have been the fire that blazed across the galaxy. Lorgar was the fucking spark. He was the spark that set it off because he's a little bitch. Oh god. I need to get a chance to like, if there's ever a video, I swear to god, I don't know if there's a video about it of like where Lorgar's current status is. It just know it involves Corvus Corax, who's turned into a giant fucking raven monster within the warp, terrorizing this motherfucker, and it's glorious.
But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Men, we
don't know what we did.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos.
Yo, that final transition though, like just how it's like as he progresses in his chaos corruption, it's also like more stuff that's like permanently tying him to his Terminator armor. Just having that giant tube hooked up to where his ear would be is good god.
And daddy issues.
Not inaccurate. Not inaccurate.
All because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus.
Wait, isn't that... Wait. Isn't that supposed to be a rendition of Lorgar? Correct me in the comments. Someone correct me in the comments.
Slowly, Horus would become corrupted,
Dude,
turning
just...
the Emperor.
That is a face on his shoulder pad. Okay, look, I mean, it's not like it's the fucking night.
Sons against him. This begins the most pivotal
That
moment
Lord's...
in our story.
Oh, God.
And the one that has like 50 books written about.
Yeah. Like I said, look at that shit. What the fuck?
About it, the Horus heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer. Really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this big red idiot just kind of blew a hole into that.
Whoops-a-daisy. That's a fuck. That's a fuck up if ever there was one.
Literally and figuratively. So Bricky over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon. Basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's
Okay, the thing I need to keep in mind that I'm intensely curious about because he mentions it. Because the throne was effectively built to be maintained by a Psyker on par with or at a similar level to the Emperor, like the Emperor himself or someone like Magnus, a lesser Psyker would probably be burned out in hours, if not minutes. So who was the unlucky bastard who had to sit on the golden throne while Emps came up to the ship here, which, by the way, that's a baller ass fucking ship, just to fight Oh, that could not have gone well.
Flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son. I'm sure you've seen this image at some point.
We have all seen this image at some point or another.
The Emperor then said, "I'm not gonna sugarcoat it," and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion.
I appreciate suddenly playing the Tekken music. Psychically blast him. I just suddenly had this image in my head of the Emperor freaking electric wind god fisting Horus into oblivion. Just fucking the Kazuya just Doria!
Killing not only his body, but also his soul.
Again, just the image in my head, just electrocuting Horus so hard his soul fucking evaporates. I've been playing a lot of Tekken 8 as of late. It's very much on the top of my head.
Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon. Because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne.
Yo, okay. Here is the iconic artwork. We all know this artwork. I don't know why he's missing his right hand in text-to-speech device. Maybe they just found a weird version that was edited. I don't know. I don't know where his right hand went. Where'd it go? Who knows? Where did it come from? Where did it go? We don't know where it came from. Maybe someone fucking took it.
The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 Psykers every single day. This was 10,000 years ago.
Yo, okay, hold up. Yo, that art though, that is, dude, that is sick. Just like, I do genuinely wonder what would happen, like, because the Emperor's a perpetual, like, part of the reason he's immortal is because he's a perpetual, meaning that even if he does die, he'll just resurrect again, like, either within the next few minutes or only in a little bit. Or maybe it'll take some time. I don't know, but, like, they have to keep him alive because if he does die, even if he comes back because it's a perpetual, they're going to be flying blind without the Astronomicon. Or at least, kind of, considering the fact that currently there's a giant fucking hole torn through the entire frickin' breadth of the galaxy. So, yeah, that's a problem.
We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer 40,000. The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire, a fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor. The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive.
Dude, again, my favorite thing about these videos is always seeing like the background art that they choose to use, because so much of it goes so fucking hard. It's just like, it doesn't need to. No, honestly, it kind of does need to in order to sell the whole vibe and aesthetic of 40K. It needs to go hard, and I'm so glad when I see it do so. It is, oh god, it's fucking incredible.
All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and
that's a no-no.
Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds.
Oh god.
The theme of Warhammer 40,000 is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance, the simple possibility that alien life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence. To be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place where lack of devotion is met with death. And if you even have devotion, there is a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Playing the bad guys is always more fun, and my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun, soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Oh, dog, I had to... Oh. Okay. Just hold up. I'll give my thoughts in a second, because holy shit. Oh. Dude, I did not mean to be silent for that long, but I just had to listen, because I was fucking engrossed. Man was cooking for that final speech. I did not want to interrupt it. Oh, applause to you, Bricky, my man. You cooked, and you cooked fucking good. That, just, like, this whole video is fun. This is great. This is a good summary to get introduced you to, like, the overall, how did we get here of 40K? But that final speech, glory to the first man to die. Bricky, my man, you cooked. Congratulations. Good luck being bullied by V Shoujo. Is there anything else? Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have helped teach you about Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the...
Okay, I think this is mostly just going to be like the afterword. It's what it is. It's fine. That is still a lot of books. Like, that's actually crazy as hell. Like, just what it discovers. You have... There's some specific ones, too. Prospero Burns, Pharaohs, the Primarchs, Battle for the Abyss, the Astra Militarum. I will call them that the day I die. They're in the Imperial Guard. Fuck you. Just so good. But dude, again, this video, Bricky, my dude, my man, my guy, you cooked, and I will repeat it. Good video. This was fun. I have been here for an hour. Editing me is gonna hate me when I get up in the morning. Anyway, whatever, that's fine. Again, go watch Bricky's content. His stuff is really good. It deserves it. Check out his more recent stuff. It's very good. Or go watch his 40k stuff if you need like an entry point or a primer. It's really good for that. Before you get into the deeper lore videos that are going to make your goddamn head spin with the crazy shit that goes on. And yeah, no. And hey, if you want to see more from me, maybe it's more the videos I make or streams. I stream basically every weekend on Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. Well, try to. You know, I have a day job, unfortunately. And hey, if you want to see more of that, feel free to support the channel too. But before you do that, again, support these guys. Because I'm just a piddly little guy with roughly over 600 subs just riding on the coattails because I make lazy content. I am self-deprecating. Anyway, until the next one.